Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Tiny the Queer and Confused Crafter. Today we are going to be making a junk journal out of an old book. It's an old Newsweek book, and for this craft you're going to need an X-Acto knife, and we're going to use this to remove the pages from the rest of the book. Over here I have all my stuff laid out that I'm going to use for the cover. You can use whatever you want. This is just what I picked out. I'm going for a pink theme because the person that I'm making this for just adores pink. Now you're going to want to cut right there at the corner where the red string thing ends. And careful not to slice the edge of the book. Also careful not to slice your hands. But yeah, just take your X-Acto knife, go right in there, and cut down. And see how we have that nice edge there? It's not perfectly even, but that's what you're going to want to do, and you're going to want to do the same thing to the other side. I messed up a little bit because I got too far away from the edge on one end, so it came out a little rugged, but that's okay, because it's going to be covered up anyway. Now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to begin painting it. And I'm using just the cheap acrylic craft paint from Walmart. It's the Apple brand, and I just kind of glob it on there because I am very impatient and I don't like to wait at all. So I just cover the whole book, and it's far too much paint, to be honest. For the first coat I should have went lighter. But again, really impatient, and what I did was I went down one way and then I went across the other way, just spreading the paint around because it dries fairly quickly, and when it dries matte, so it doesn't have the shine to it, and it's craft paint, so it'll stick to any surface pretty much. And then I, towards the end, went over it very gently so that it would cover more area. And I just kept repeating the process of going over it gently until it got covered to the point where I wanted it. And I didn't want to fully cover kind of on the darker part of the book because I kind of liked how it looked a bit, where it was a little bit darker in some areas. Next, I went in with a hairdryer because, again, I am really impatient. And I folded it upwards because I realized that the craft paint dries hard and that it might, I don't know for certain, but that it might dry to where I couldn't close it. So I've put it up like this, and I put my X-Acto knife case in between it so it wouldn't knock over. And I semi-dried it standing up in the crevices of where it folded down just to be safe. And then I let it back down and dried it the rest of the way. And you can see how it's turning matte in the places where it's drying. I was a little bit impatient, and I kept touching it to see if it was dry, and I got paint on my hands multiple times. So I'd touch it, get paint on my hands, and then dry it some more. And then at the end I thought I had dried it all the way, but it still had some wet marks. And when I went back over it with more paint, some of the paint lifted up in a few places. And that's just what happens when you go over it with wet paint over semi-dry paint. but I think it gave it just more character. I mean, this is art, and art is never wrong, it simply is. So it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. Like Bob Ross said, there's no mistakes, only happy accidents. Uh, so I liked how it turned out. Also, this part took forever, and my arms were tired by the end of it. I feel like I got a good arm workout from just painting this book. I was going for the most Barbie pink that I could find, and I think I succeeded on that. Please let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Next, I started laying everything out like how I wanted it, and I was experimenting a little bit with different orders on how to do things. Like I just couldn't decide. At first I thought I wanted that over that, but then I decided to layer it over top of the darker pink ribbon because it just had more of a dramatic effect. By the way, all of these items that I am using on this project, including the book itself, all came from this arts and crafts thrift shop that's here in Nashville called Smart Arts, which if you're in the Nashville area, I definitely recommend you check out. It's where people like donate their half-finished craft projects or just all kinds of stuff that you can use for arts and crafts, stickers that, maybe they have a few stickers missing, or just stickers that nobody could think of anything to use, and our old stamps, ink pads, anything you can think of arts and crafts related, they have it at very, very good prices. Sometimes they have sales, like they have a fill your basket for $24 sales, and I like to go in when they have those and just fill a basket. And that's the only way I'm able to afford to do crafts. No, I moved it around a lot to get everything in place. And what I just pulled out there is Queen Ephemera, and I got that from Amazon, and I will link it down below. I'm going to use it in the little frame because I realized it needed something in the frame. And then I found this colorful sheet of paper, and I was like, the backside definitely needs something to balance it out, because I was like, the backside's way too plain. I don't like to put anything heavy on the backside. Like, I like it to be fairly flat on the backside. That's just a personal preference of mine. You can make these things however you want. There is no wrong way to do them. I am a firm believer that however you want to do it is the right way to do it. There are no limits. If you can think it, you can do it. I mean, I guess the only real the only real limitation there would be, what you can think of. So your imagination pretty much is the only limit there for you. But yeah, so I started gluing down the pieces to the book here and getting everything how I wanted. And this was like there was a sticker backing to it. And like some of the stuff that I find, like I cannot believe that people would just get rid of it because this was so nice. This is just so pretty. Just sticker lace. I didn't even know sticker lace was a thing. And I put it a little too close to the edge of the book, but I think it's fine. It'll be fine. That's my mantra. This is fine. This is fine. Everything is just working out how it's meant to be. I like to leave a little hanging over the edge because I want to make sure I get the edges perfectly lined up with the book, and I'm incapable of measuring things. Well, it's not that I'm incapable of measuring things, it's just that I refuse to measure anything. So I just create a little overhang and then I'll trim it up later. And I did end up saving the backs of this glue-on lace for my scrap bucket. Which I'll probably do something with my scrap bucket once it gets more full. Well, it's not an actual bucket, it's really a drawer. But once my drawer gets like too full and too packed, I'll probably do a video just on scraps alone. On the other side, I decided to put glue down on just the whole side so it would stick better, because I got a little bit more worried about it sticking on that side, because I noticed it wasn't sticking super well on the front side, but I was lazy and I didn't want to go back through with glue and pull it up and glue it down again. So, and I figured since I'm going to be hot gluing the flowers onto it, and what I'm doing here is I'm prying the back of this picture frame off. Be very careful when you do this because I almost stabbed myself in the finger. I'm very accident prone. But I got it off. And I took the Queen Ephemera that I got from Amazon, which I will link down below because I thought it was just so pretty and I really, really like it and I want to get more if that brand has more. Maybe not the same exact one. And I just held it to different ones to see which one I liked best. I was trying to bring out all the colors in the frame and in the flowers. And I eventually went with one in the corner that had yellow roses around it. And the inside was pink with a woman in a Baroque outfit. And I just thought it was very pretty. So I used it, and then I hot glued the frame back to it, and I accidentally didn't quite glue in the right spot, but it still stuck, so it was fine. And then I hot glued it again, or well, first I sat it to make sure I had it in the right place. And then I kind of overglued a bit because I don't have a high temp glue gun. I just have the low temp. Because my high temp broke, and so I wanted to make sure I got enough glue on it. And then I couldn't remember where I had my flowers at. But then I eventually remembered, and got my little kitty on there. I realized after that I kind of put the frame a little too high up, but like I said, it's fine. It's gonna look good. No one's gonna notice these mistakes except for you. Well, when you make your own, no one's going to notice that there's mistakes except for you, unless you tell somebody. So in my case, I know, and you all know, that I've made mistakes on this, but it doesn't matter, because it's going to come out good. And these are actually, the backs of them were actually sticky, but I put hot glue on them just to reinforce them, because I want this to stay really well. And I apologize for the image to be kind of small here. I haven't quite figured out the video editing app that I'm using, because when I do the YouTube mode, it kind of takes away the full screen that my phone was doing, or like when I upload it to the app, the camera doesn't fully, it doesn't show the full shot. Also, I decided to add the little green bow and the heart right there because it was just missing something right there, and there's green in that frame. So I thought it really brought out that green and it balanced that out more. But yeah, and then I also had green in that pretty little paper there. So I felt it balanced the front and back out. And I decided I was gonna put some more stuff on the back. But first I had to even out that paper, and I cut it, and it wasn't even, and then I had to cut it again, and then cut it again. You know how it goes. Try to get it even, then it doesn't even, then you gotta cut it again, and then eventually you just give up. And I need a guillotine. You know, the cutters that they call guillotines. And glued that down with just the Elmer's craft glue that I normally use. In case you're wondering why I voiced over this instead of how I normally do it, where I'm talking while I'm making this, it's because I kept burning myself with a hot glue gun and swearing entirely too much to upload this to YouTube. I'm adding more of the ephemera to the back, which there's a lot going on back in the back, and I think it came out really great. Check out how awesome that is. It still needs to be trimmed up, but yeah, I think it came out great. The little one in the corner says friends forever. I've actually been friends with this person for nearly 20 years now. So it's a really good gift for them. So here's just trimming up the edges so I can make sure it's perfectly flush with the edge of the book. And then in the next video, I'm going to do a part 2, and I'm going to do the inside of the book, because right now the inside is just completely blank. But yeah, see you guys later. Please like and subscribe to my channel.